those people would be radical Islam. Everybody except the White House, of course. They refuse to say that. Number 13. Appeal to the historically compassionate and sensitive Americans for sympathy and tolerance towards Muslims in America, who are portrayed mainly as immigrants from oppressed countries. Are you listening to what I'm reading to you guys? It's almost like I turned it on the news and read about the Syrian immigrants and the big battle that's going on in the politics right now about should we let the refugees in, should we not let the refugees in, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I am reading the playbook right now that has caused this. I'm giving you the manifesto. I'm giving you the agenda. I'm telling you what was spoken a couple decades ago about what is coming to fruition right now. And according to this man, and it sounds right on so far, everything he said has come true. According to this man, by 2020, they will have conquered the United States. Okay. Number 14. Nullify America's sense of security by manipulating the intelligence community with misinformation. Periodically terrorize Americans with reports of impending attacks on bridges, tunnels, water supplies, airports, apartment buildings, and mails. Number 15. Form riots and demonstrations in the prison system demanding Islamic Sharia as the way of life, not America's justice system. Once again, are you listening to this? Everything I'm reading to you, you go back, if you're listening in archive, which most of you will be if you listen to this, go back and listen to every one of these things I'm giving you. Just type in Islamic Sharia and American justice system. Type it into a search engine and see what comes up. Their hair is going to stand up on the back of your neck. Number 16, I'm sorry. Open numerous charities throughout the U.S., but use the funds to support Islamic terrorism with American dollars. Number 17, raise interest in Islam on Americans' campuses by insisting freshmen take at least one course on Islam. 18, unify the numerous Muslim lobbies in Washington, mosques, Islamic student centers, educational organizations, magazines and papers by internet, and an annual convention to coordinate plans, propagate the faith, and engender news in the media. Number 19, send intimidating messages and messengers to the outspoken individuals who are critical of Islam and seek to eliminate them by hook or crook. 20, applaud Muslims as local citizens of the U.S. by spotlighting their voting record as the highest percentage of all minority and ethnic groups in America. Okay, and just a little about the author. Shiraz was a member of the Oxford Society of Scholars, traveled 76 countries, and is a lecturer and producer of television documentaries Islam Revealed, and at the time a bestseller that was in its 8th printing. And then he had a forthcoming 10th book titled Islam, a Threat or a Challenge. Are you listening to everything I just wrote? I just gave you 20 planks of the Islamic plan. So you're asking me, okay, Rendell, you laid out some pretty cool things there, but what's that got to do with Common Core? It's got everything to do with Common Core. Everything. Let me go right to Wikipedia. We're going to tell you what Wikipedia says about Common Core, and then we're going to get deeply into it. Right from Wikipedia, the Common Core States Standards Initiative is an educational initiative in the United States that details what kindergarten through 12 students should know in English language arts and mathematics at the end of each grade. The initiative is sponsored by the National Governors Association and the Council of Chief State School Officers, or the CCSSO, and seeks to establish consistent educational standards across the states, as well as ensure that students graduating from high school are prepared to enter credit-bearing courses at 2 or 3 year college programs or enter the workforce. Okay? That all sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds great. That's a good plan. Give everybody a fair chance at going into college and starting out with their with a head start, right? Where they don't have to go back and take up a mediator or a intermediate course or a remedial course. Because this is part of the agenda for the Islamic infiltration of America. It truly is. Let me give you an example. Then we're going to get into why. From last year, from the year 2014-2015 school year, what students were doing under the Common Core initiatives they were participating in public sponsored trips to mosques, Girls had to wear headscarves. And every one of these I'm going to tell you when there was complaints. This was in Colorado. Their parents complained, of course, and they were shut up. Debating whether or not the Holocaust was merely a political scheme created to influence public emotion and gain. This was an 8th grade assignment. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance in Arabic. Observing 2 Muslim holy days. Being taught Islamic vocabulary lessons. Being taught about Islamic culture. Being taught world history from an Islamic perspective. This includes learning about the 5 pillars of Islam. Being told to proselytize by creating a pamphlet about Islam to introduce Islam to 3rd graders. Saying that Allah is the same God as Christians and Jews worship. In Massachusetts, they're being made to recite the Muslim call to prayer, the Shahada. There is no God but Allah. See, remember, what did Barack Obama say when he was running for president, when in the very beginning, when he came out of nowhere? Nobody had ever heard of this guy. And all of a sudden, here he is, and he's winning election. And he's the president of the United States. Didn't know how to take the oath without fumbling. But here he is. What did he say? Change, right? Hope and change. Through how? How was hope and change going to become about? What he's done. For the last 7 years, he's completely transformed this country. And not in a good way either. See, Common Core, or Obamacare, okay, it's Obamacare. If you want to go back and listen to my teaching on Obamacare, I don't even remember when I did it last year. Go back in the archives, check it out. There's a lot of stuff there because it also follows the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. One way for the overthrow of a nation. This is just one of the parts of how Islam is meant to infiltrate all of the society in America, because Common Cores came from or originated and was funded by, believe me, Qatar, Libya, and Saudi Arabia. See, because globally, worldwide, this is what started as the one world education concept. This was organized by what was called Connect All Schools program. It was funded by Qatar Foundation International. Tariq Ramadan, the grandson of Muslim Brotherhood founder Hassan al-Banna, is the director of the Research Center for Islamic Legislation in Qatar. So in 2011, QFI, Qatar Foundation International, partnered up with the Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education to come up with a way to get the classrooms in the U.S. and the international schools together. Connect All Schools program. This was founded in response to Barack Obama's speech in Cairo in 2009. The Muslim Brotherhood was seated on the front row of that speech. Remember, he was elected in 2008. 2009, he gives his speech about Connect All Schools. Common Core was, well, they say it's created by the National Governors Association, but what you got to understand, the reason that it was created is because the states were promised money, big money, to institute Common Core. Bill and Melinda Gates and the United Nations were big in this. They helped with create the standards. Yeah. But Pearson Education is the big group that is the biggest part of this Common Core fiasco. Peterson Education is a designer of educational products and services to schools and governments all over the world, and directly to individuals. The Libyan Investment Authority is its largest financial contributor with 26 million shares. And according to Financial Times, Libyan Investment Authority was founded by Muammar Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam. And then there's over 5 Gaddafi family members who own shares. So the Council on Islamic Relations, or CAIR, which was not too long ago was listed as a terrorist organization by the United Arab Emirates, Turkey and Saudi Arabia, and the Muslim Brotherhood invested in Pearson Education through this Libyan Investment Authority. If these things went on in America, they would be, man, there'd be people going to jail, wouldn't they? Right? You'd be talking about all kinds of inquisitions and acts of Congress and going through all the courts and up to the Chief Justice and, going through all the backlash of all these things. But these things are hidden. See, because Pearson Education is a public company that operates in a free market. So they say that they have no control over the shareholders' activities. Isn't that a nice little cop-out? Money changes everything, doesn't it? I guess Cindy Lauper was right. So in order for a state to participate in this program, the State Board of Education and the Standards Board would have to vote for the adoption of Common Core standards, right? So about 2 years before Barack Obama's Race to the Top initiative, this was in 2007 that I'm talking about, so it would have been 2 years prior, which, remember we said earlier, 2009, Race to the Top initiative. So in 2007, the SBI uncovered documents that revealed the goals of the Muslim Brotherhood and its organizations, one of them being CAIR, Council of American Islamic Resources, right? This was the part of the plan to indoctrinate American K through 12 students by teaching Islam. Didn't we just read that from a 1993 report? They found this from documents that were seized. The FBI uncovered these documents. They were seized part of the Holy Land Foundation trial. Remember, this was one of the largest terror funding trials in U.S. history. So they found the Brotherhood's manifesto. Yeah. General strategic goal for the group in North America, Exhibit 42-945 and Exhibit 42-946. So when the states in the United States applied for this Race to the Top federal funds in 2009, Pearson Education created the curriculum for Common Core and the Common Core standards for the initiative. Race to the Top, federal funds. Understand that no state or federal oversight exists for university programs. This is under Title VI of the Higher Education Act. So there's no oversight that train K through 12 teachers to develop lesson plans and seminars on Middle East studies. Understand these programs and teacher training materials were developed by Pearson Education and funded by Saudi Arabia, Libya, and Qatar. Scary, isn't it? Isn't it? Especially when we read back from 20th of December of the past year to 2015. I'm going to go straight from an article. Jonah Hickap is the author. I want to give him attribution for this. This is in World News. An official of the largest Muslim group in the United States with purported terrorist ties has been invited to a meeting at the White House to seek out his views on the subject of religious discrimination in America. Hassan Shibli, Chief Executive Director of Council on American Islam Relations, or CAIR, here in Florida, has been tapped to represent the Muslim community in the U.S. anti-terrorism expert Stevenson Emerson revealed. Noticeably, the moderate group Muslim Reform Movement has not been invited to the meeting. Since 2008, the FBI has prohibited any communication with CAIR officials due to its ties with Muslim Brotherhood. And Emerson asked this question: why would the White House include CAIR when FBI policy is to avoid the group? Emerson, head of the investigative project on terrorism, said his group got an email from the White House saying that CAIR state chapter representatives have been included in board meetings. The meeting's focus is understandable, but the inclusion of the prominent CAIR officials serves only to enhance the status of the group with documented ties to a terrorist financing network. It's deep, guys. Emerson goes on to say, for the past 7 years, the Obama White House has opened its doors to an entire spectrum of radical Islamist groups, just like CAIR. Oh, remember the big mess that came up just last month during Barack Obama's last State of the Union address when he invited members of the Muslim Brotherhood there? So now we have U.S. schools that are adopting this Muslim Common Core standard idea. This is bad. This is real bad. Guys, I'm not going to go much further on this because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to go any deeper than this, should I? This is scary. Not just bad, it's scary. We've got a generation of children right now growing up, and they're